The Nollywood industry has witnessed a lot of mother characters over the years. These Nollywood mothers defined an era with their different acting styles, but where are they now? Let's look at 15 Nollywood mothers and where they are currently. At number 15, we have Patience Ozokwo, or Mama G. Let's not even pretend. When you think of a strict, no-nonsense Nollywood mother, the first name that jumps out is Patience Ozokwo. Her presence on screen is almost spiritual, commanding, dramatic, and unforgettable. She didn't just act, she embodied the characters. And for over 3 decades, she's been the face of fearsome Nigerian motherhood on screen.
If you see your mother, won't you recognize her? Your mother is in hell, and definitely she cannot be me.
Patience Ozokwo kicked off her acting journey in the late 1990s, but before Nollywood, she was a trained broadcaster and had worked with Radio Nigeria. Her transition into acting came after years in radio drama and stage plays, which explains why her delivery was always so sharp. By 1999, she had fully taken root in Nollywood, and it wasn't long before she became typecast in motherly roles that had a mix of bitterness, power, and undying loyalty to her children, especially sons. She has had some unforgettable roles in Old School, Mother-in-Law, Submission, End of the Wicked, and Blood Sisters. Mama G perfected the role of the toxic mother-in-law or the overprotective mother willing to destroy anyone who crosses her children. She was the quintessential wicked mother. Whether it was poisoning a rival or spiritually manipulating events from behind closed doors, she did it all, and with unmatched intensity. But beyond the screen, Patience's real life story was steeped in resilience. She became a widow at a young age, raising her children alone while building a career. That strength translated into her roles. It wasn't just acting, it was personal. Her children are all grown now, and in recent years, Patience has stepped into a more peaceful, faith-filled phase of her life. As of 2025, Mama G is still active in Nollywood, but she's slowed down. She's more selective about roles and now focuses on mentoring younger actors. She's also a born-again Christian, deeply involved in ministry work. She's been seen preaching at church programs and youth events, urging people to live right and shun the kind of characters she once portrayed so flawlessly. In 2023, Patience made headlines when she was conferred with a National Honor Member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR, by former President Goodluck Jonathan. She dedicated the award to her late husband. Next up, at number 14, we have Ngozi Ezeonu. If Patience Ozokwo was the fierce lioness, Ngozi was the soft-hearted, God-fearing, and perpetually weeping mother. She had a way of crying on cue, clasping her hands in prayer and begging her children not to ruin their lives. Her emotional depth was unmatched. Ngozi Ezeonu started acting in 1993, and her big break came with the film Nneka the Pretty Serpent and Gamot Girls. But it was in movies like Family Battle, Adamma, Mother of Faith, Royal Doom, and Tears of a Mother that she truly etched herself into hearts. Always cast as a nurturing, patient, and sacrificial mother, she became the face of grace and emotional strength.
If your baby's temperature is high,
her roles often reflected real-life maternal struggles, widowed early, single-handedly raising children, and praying through poverty. Unlike Patience, she wasn't the warrior mother. She was the gentle counselor, the one who tried to fix everything with love and prayer. Off-screen, Ngozi's real life mirrored some of the pain she portrayed. She went through a quiet divorce and focused heavily on her children. She raised them with little fanfare, and today, she keeps her personal life mostly private. In recent years, she's spoken about health struggles and a deliberate decision to take fewer roles to rest and rejuvenate. As of 2025, Ngozi is still in the industry but is semi-retired. She appears occasionally in royal-themed or family drama films. Most of her time now is spent in Asaba, where she's investing in real estate and running a small wellness business, and sometimes hosts auditions for young generations of actors. She's lost weight, embraced the peaceful lifestyle, and stays out of controversy. And yes, her fans still call her Queen Mother. At number 13, we have Rachel Oniga. She was the heartbeat of maternal love in Nollywood until her sudden death in 2021 of July. Born in 1957, she joined Nollywood in 1993 after a brief stint in engineering. Her acting career took off fast, with early appearances in classics like Songo, Super Story, and Dr. Bello. But her true power came in films where she played strong moral mothers, loving but firm, and deeply rooted in culture. Her roles in Super Story, Out of Bounds, Owo Blow, Power of Sin, and My Village People made her a household name.
From where? Another business meeting, or from the embrace of your new woman?
Rachel didn't overact. she lived through her lines. She could play the gentle mother, the funny one, or the traditional mother dealing with rebellious children. She was particularly loved in Yoruba and English films for her versatility. Rachel Oniga became a single mother after separating from her husband in 1993, raising her 3 children with admirable grit. Until her death, she was active in both Nollywood and TV. She had just completed work on a few films and a TV series before she passed from heart complications. By 2025, her legacy still lives. Her daughter Georgia is preserving her memory through an NGO supporting widows and single mothers. Nollywood paid the grand tribute to her in 2022 with her memorial event that drew tears and stories from actors who said she was everybody's mother on set. At number 12, we have Chinyere Owo. If calm wisdom had a face in Nollywood, it would be Chinyere Owo. Often dressed in simple wrappers and headscarves, she was that church-going, fasting and praying mother who suffered quietly and forgave everyone by the end of the movie. Chinyere started acting in the early 2000s, and while she wasn't as flashy as some of her peers, she became a staple in family and traditional dramas. Movies like Rituals, Heart of a Mother, Odumeje's Village, and Cry for Help were filled with her powerful monologues and cheerful pleas.
My only pikin, he passed college. I don't feel sad I go school.
She was always the peacemaker, always the one calling her children to order. One of the most memorable things about Chinyere Owo's performances was her ability to cry without saying a word. Her silence spoke volumes. Her maternal characters were always emotional. Now in her late 60s, Chinyere Owo is no longer as visible on screen. Since the passing of her husband in the early 2010s, she's lived quietly in Enugu, surrounded by grandchildren. As of 2025, she's reportedly working on a memoir about motherhood and fame, with interviews revealing her deep faith and contentment. She occasionally attends Nollywood veteran events and was recently honored at the 2024 Legends of the Screen ceremony. These days, she spends her time farming, reading her Bible, and attending local women's fellowships. At number 11, we have Joke Silva, the elegant, intelligent mother who wore motherhood like a crown. She's the complete opposite of the stereotypical emotional or spiritual mothers Nollywood was known for. Her characters were educated, classy, and composed. She often played the high society mother, the one who ran businesses or chaired board meetings, yet still kept her family together. Joke Silva began her acting journey in the 1980s, long before Nollywood boomed. She trained in the UK and returned to Nigeria to reshape the industry. By the time Violated, Keeping Faith, and Phone Swap came out, Joke was already a queen of the screen. Her roles as a mother figure were always laced with intelligence, empathy, and quiet strength. Married to the legendary Olu Jacobs, their union was Nollywood royalty. But in recent years, she's carried the weight of their love story alone. Olu Jacobs was diagnosed with dementia with Lewy body, and since 2021, Joke has been his full-time caregiver. As of 2025, Joke Silva is still active, teaching, acting, producing, and managing their theatre academy, Lufodo. She's been open about the challenges of caregiving while maintaining a public career, and Nigerians respect her strength. In 2023, she received a Lifetime Achievement Award from AMAA and used the platform to speak about dementia awareness. She's not just a mother on screen, she's become a mother to the industry, nurturing talent and defending artistic integrity, also holding up her husband with fierce dignity. At number 10, we have Rita Edochie. She's one of those iconic faces that instantly brings back the thick aroma of early 2000s Nollywood. She's the kind of mother you didn't want to cross, stern, unforgiving, yet heartbreakingly protective when pushed. Rita started her acting career in the early 1990s, and by the turn of the millennium, she had already carved out her own lane, playing the fierce, deeply traditional, and emotionally layered mother figures. You probably remember her in Mama Oyoyo, A Cry for Help, Holy Cross, and Tears and Sorrows. She was always the mother who would curse you out in Igbo and make you cry just by glaring at you. As of 2025, Rita is still active in Nollywood, but she's more selective with roles. What's more talked about these days isn't her acting, but her unwavering support for the Biafra movement and her strong social media presence. She's been very vocal politically, especially around IPOB matters and justice for the Igbo people. It's made her a controversial figure, but she wears it like an armor. Rita is married to Tony Edochie, Pete Edochie's younger brother, and they've weathered life storms together, though they live a relatively low-profile personal life. Next up, at number 9, we have Ebele Okaro. She is the type of mother Nollywood used to lean on when a scene needed some dramatic feel. Her acting career didn't take off until the 2000s. Although she had been dabbling in stage and TV since the 80s, she was one of those women who came into the industry a bit later than others, but still owned every scene she walked into. Think The Moving Train, Royal Hibiscus Hotel, Black Rose, and Mother's Love. Ebele was known for playing the supportive mother in some movies, and in some movies she can take up some more evil stepmother and mother-in-law roles. In 2025, Ebele is still working steadily. She's starred in quite a few recent Netflix licensed Nollywood films and has maintained her reputation as the mother of Nollywood for a new generation of viewers. Unlike many of her peers, she's kept her private life tight. There's barely a scandal in sight. She lost her husband in 2023 and is now also mentoring younger actresses through private workshops and behind-the-scenes coaching. She's not out there chasing fame anymore. She's focused on legacy. At number 8, we have Liz Benson, the Queen Mother herself. For anyone who grew up on Nollywood in the 90s, Liz wasn't just a mother figure, she was a goddess. She started acting as early as the late 1980s, but truly took over screens with the release of Glamour Girls in 1994. Back then, she played sexy, daring women who lived life on their own terms. But as the years rolled in, she gradually slipped into powerful mother roles and several Christian-themed movies where she became the voice of morality and grace. Liz was never the village nag or the wicked mother-in-law. She played elite, graceful mothers, usually the matriarch of a wealthy family. Calm but commanding, but sometimes she could switch and play the tough mother. Liz Benson stepped away from secular Nollywood in the mid-2000s after becoming a born-again Christian. She got married to Bishop Great Ameye and together they started evangelizing. These days, she's based mostly in Delta State, running ministry work with her husband. But she made a surprising return to acting in the 2010s, appearing in select Christian and socially conscious films. In 2025, Liz is mostly retired from acting. She pops in for a cameo here and there, particularly if it's a faith-based or moral message film, but her main focus now is her faith. At number 7, we have Hilda Dokubo. She's the raw, unfiltered version of the Nollywood mother figure. She didn't need fancy clothes or long monologues. Her eyes told the story. She started acting in the early 1990s and quickly rose to prominence with heart-wrenching roles in films like End of the Wicked, Stigma, and My Good Will. Hilda was known for playing the broken mother, the one who had suffered, lost everything, but still managed to put food on the table for her kids. She embodied pain so well that audiences sometimes forgot it was just a role. Her soft voice, but strained, could carry grief, desperation, and love all in one sentence. By the late 2010s, Hilda became heavily involved in activism and politics. She served as a special advisor to the governor of Rivers State and was always knee-deep in women's rights campaigns. As of 2025, she's juggling multiple roles, occasionally acting, but mostly pushing for social change. She's been active in advocating for peace, girl-child education, and mental health across Nigeria. She recently returned to the screen in a few psychological dramas, proving she's still got it. And though she's no longer front and center in Nollywood's daily buzz, her presence looms large. Fans still remember her as the woman who could cry a river on screen and make you cry with her. Hilda's personal life remains low-key. She's divorced but maintains a strong co-parenting relationship with her ex-husband. She lives in Port Harcourt and divides her time between creative projects, activism, and public speaking. At number 6, we have Sola Sobowale, the kind of Nollywood mother who could slap you into next week and then cry over your body. Her career began way back in the 90s with Yoruba films, but she didn't really explode until she played Toyin Tomato in Wale Adenuga's Super Story. Then came Ohun Oko Somida, Dangerous Twins, and of course the iconic King of Boys. Sola was never just a mother character, she was the storm. Loud, bold, unpredictable. She played the mother who screamed in the market, fought with her in-laws, but would also sell her last wrapper to send her kids to school. She was Nollywood's most dramatic mother figure and audiences loved her for it. Her 2018 comeback in King of Boys turned her into a cross-generational star. She became a cultural symbol not just in Nigeria but in the diaspora too. And she's still going strong.
God was punishment in a person.
In 2025, Sola is as booked and busy as ever. She's appeared in several new Netflix originals, starred in another Kemi Adetiba film, and is currently shooting a biopic where she plays a historic Yoruba queen. Personally, Sola is thriving. She's got twin daughters living abroad, and she often shares glimpses of her life as a proud mom. Her marriage has stayed off the gossip blogs, something quite rare in Nollywood. She's in her late 50s now, but still makes moves like a woman with fire in her bones. When she speaks in interviews, you feel it. She knows her power. and she's finally getting her flowers. At number 5, we have Ireti Doyle. She came into the Nollywood scene with class, pure grace, wrapped in calm wisdom. She started her acting journey in the 90s but rose to wide recognition in the early 2000s. You could spot her in iconic mother roles like in The Arbitration, 50, and later on Tinsel, where she carried a character with quiet elegance and strong maternal authority. Her type of mother is the corporate mom, the emotionally aware, intellectual type who wouldn't scream at her kids but would pierce your soul with silent disappointment. She was the mother who always wore heels, read Chinua Achebe, and could balance wine in one hand and discipline in the other.
If you open your mouth and tell me that you want to become a singer or
But Ireti's real-life story took a sharp turn in recent years. In 2023, she confirmed her divorce from actor Patrick Doyle after years of speculation. The separation was mutual, and since then, she's been unapologetically walking in her truth. Now in 2025, Ireti has shifted gears toward producing and writing. She runs a lifestyle platform where she shares wellness tips, book reviews, and mature perspectives on relationships and parenting. At number 4, we have Onyeka Onwenu. She is a singer, a journalist, a filmmaker, and when she decided to take on acting, she did it with same legendary elegance. She's played mothers with a regal air, especially in films like Half of a Yellow Sun and Lionheart, alongside Genevieve Nnaji. In both roles, she was the quiet, reflective matriarch, the one who held the family together with calm strength. She wasn't loud, she didn't have to be. Onyeka started acting much later than her music and journalism career, but her presence made such an impact that she became the go-to mother for roles that needed more than just emotion. They needed soul. Her voice, her expressions, and even her silence carried weight. On July 30, 2024, Onyeka Onwenu collapsed and died shortly after performing at the 80th birthday celebration of Emzo Pharmaceuticals CEO Stella Okoli in Lagos. She was rushed to Reddington Hospital, but it was too late. She was 72. At number 3, we have Taiwo Ajai-Lycett. Now, if there's any actress who embodies intellectual motherhood on screen, it's Taiwo Ajai-Lycett. She made her acting debut all the way back in 1966 in London and became one of the earliest faces of professionalism in Nollywood. But it wasn't until the 90s and early 2000s that she started gracing our screens with model roles that felt like lectures wrapped in silk. Her style is British-Nigerian hybrid mom. Always articulate, always composed, she was the type of mother who quoted Shakespeare and threw in Yoruba proverbs for balance. Whether in movies like Tinsel, Oloibiri, or her more recent roles in indie dramas, Taiwo brought a scholarly depth to motherhood, less emotion, and more enlightenment.
Everywhere in the world there is corruption. There are people, fraudsters, and everything.
She turned 84 in 2025 and is now more of a veteran, attending social events and gatherings, and as she isn't formally retired, she is involved in some special movie roles. At number 2, we have Bukky Wright. She was a stylish mother, the fine auntie turned strict mom. She started her acting career in the mid-1990s, and by the early 2000s, she was everywhere from Yoruba classics to English soap operas. She nailed mother roles in films like Abeni, Outcast, and Omotara Johnson. She often played the mother who had seen it all, sometimes a little materialistic, sometimes deeply misunderstood but always striking. Her trademark is elegance with a temper. She was the type of mom who could slap her children in one scene and buy them gifts in the next. She brought drama but also depth. Bukky balanced the city girl vibes with motherly strength, making her one of the most dynamic maternal figures in Nollywood. In recent years, Bukky moved to the United States and took a long break from acting. But in 2024, she made quiet in the movie Something About the Briggs, and fans were thrilled. She's been divorced for years and has kept her dating life private. Her 2 sons are now grown. One of them is a filmmaker, the other an entrepreneur, and Bukky seems content watching them take over the world. At number 1, we have Faithia Balogun. She started her acting career in the late 1990s, bursting into Yoruba Nollywood with her smooth blend of humility and chaos. She's always played the mother who tried to keep the family together even when everyone else had lost their minds. You'll find her in classics like Ajemeta, Iya Alalake, and more recently Oshufunke. Faithia's mother's roles were raw. She was the struggling, prayerful, don't mess with my child type. Her portrayals always felt grounded. She was never too polished and always relatable. Her personal life was often in the news, especially her high-profile divorce from Said Balogun, but she rose above the headlines and kept doing the work. In 2023, 2023, she quietly remarried, though she hasn't publicly confirmed the identity of her new partner. As of 2025, she's heavily into producing now, especially Yoruba films with feminist themes. She also opened a production academy in Ibadan, mentoring young girls who want to enter the film industry.